See the speedrunning community, yeah? Well, when they do a run of a game using bugs and glitches, that's called an any percent run. But I think it needs a better name that makes it more clear that people are using bugs. It should be called a Buggy Run. Shut up! In our last video we took a look at RC Grand Prix, a game that was shamelessly trying to be the RC Pro-Am equivalent for the Master System. When I first bought that game I was basically looking for something that scratched a similar itch to Buggy Run, which is one of those games that I've always wanted to play, but the collector's prices have basically stopped me from getting my own copy. Well, I've finally played the thing now, and in this video I'd like to explore whether or not Buggy Run is worth the ridiculous prices it currently goes for. Buggy Run is an isometric off-road racing game where you compete against 3 other AI drivers for first place. You can collect power-ups and weapons to use against your opponents, and there's also extra cash to be grabbed which can be spent between races to improve your car's specs. It's very typical stuff for a racing game of this era, and you've seen it before in RC Pro-Am, Super Off-Road, Hot Rod, and many more. Like those games, it all works pretty well, and if you choose your loadout well, then you're basically untouchable on the track. Unlike RC Grand Prix, which we looked at in our last video, everything has been drawn much smaller, which gives you a wider view on the circuits, and you don't collide with the walls as much because the tracks are also much wider, giving you a little wiggle room when it comes to making mistakes while cornering. This is a very competently made racing game with great presentation and more interesting on-track action thanks to being able to use weapons to spice things up a bit. I'd say the game's sense of speed is probably a little lacking, but I'd much prefer that over RC Grand Prix's breakneck nonsense where you can't react to corners quick enough without additional sound alerts and arrows so you know where you're going. Everything about the makeup of Buggy Run should make for a much more enjoyable racing experience than RC Grand Prix, and it definitely does, but there's one major issue. It's easy. If you pick the right upgrades between races, then you have nothing to fear from your opponents because your handling will be better, your acceleration will be better, and your top speed will be better. You don't even need to buy weaponry because why bother attacking when you're already in first? And honestly, I'd much rather play an enjoyable yet easy game over something that is clearly rushed and frustrating to play. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Buggy Run worth its current second-hand asking price? Of course not! What game is actually worth 150 quid? Not even brand new games are worth that much money. So pirate it! There is currently no official, legal way to play this game, so stick it on a flash cart, play it in an emulator. Have a chill time racing a little car around. It's good for the soul!